Councilmember Anderson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Conklin, likewise, I did read your
Yes, and I
testimony.
appreciate your response that you were kind enough to send me an email with your thoughts.
So, thank you very much for sharing, Professor Conklin. Really appreciate that. I just wanted to ask you, if the legislation currently in Congress at this time were amended so as to state that people who had at least one ancestor of the Hawaiian Kingdom could be a full-fledged citizen in whichever entity is formed through the Hawaiian Governance Reorganization Act, would you remove your opposition from the legislation?
I would not remove it. However, a substantial group of Native Hawaiians who currently oppose the bill would remove their opposition, perhaps, because I'm not sure about that, because they generally just oppose the whole idea of having the U.S. government tell Hawaiians what to do. But for many of them, the objection is that it should include everyone who is a descendant of Hawaiian Kingdom subjects. And that's another point against the Akaka bill, by the way, is that the Kingdom of Hawaii was multiracial. A majority of cabinet ministers throughout the 70-year history of the kingdom were of non-native ancestry. Almost all the department heads had no native blood. There were about a quarter to a third of the elected members of the legislature who had no native blood. And here, we're setting up a bill which is just saying, you got to have the blood or you can't belong.
But I think that was also a nicety of the Hawaiian elite to extend citizenship in their kingdom to all, whereas many tribes in the continental United States did not extend that privilege.
I'm very glad you raised that, and I understand that view that you've expressed, but let me put the matter in a different light. There would not have been a Kingdom of Hawaii if it were not for the Caucasians who came here and helped to build it.
That's a matter of opinion, sir.
No, it is not. The person in the Royal Mausoleum at Mauna Ala, who is the oldest body buried in the Royal Mausoleum, is from England. His name is John Young. His tomb is in the shape of a heiau. It's a sacred burial, and it is guarded by a pair of sacred pulo'ulo'u sticks. He was Kamehameha the Great's closest advisor, and Kamehameha could not have defeated his enemies without the assistance he received. There were, as the kingdom went along, there were countless many, not just Caucasians, there were about 1,000 Chinese who took naturalization and became subjects of the Hawaiian Kingdom. There were all the plantation workers giving their sweat equity to build the kingdom. And so the kingdom was multiracial in the way it was built and thrived, and you cannot take that away from the people who built that kingdom like that by saying only the descendants of the subjects and so on. That's not right. The kingdom was multiracial, and our state today is multiracial.
Exactly. So if we were to remove that clause from, if the powers that be in the United States Congress were to remove that clause saying that you had to be of part Native Hawaiian ancestry, but you were simply to state that you must have one ancestor who was a kingdom of the former, was a citizen of the former kingdom, that would not be limited to a racial or ethnic group, would it?
If you were living in Massachusetts right now, would you support legislation to create a special group with governmental authorities consisting of all the descendants of the pilgrims who landed on the Mayflower? Do you think that would be appropriate?
That's not the issue at hand, though, Professor,
I think
with all
it
due
is.
respect. I respectfully disagree.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Further questions, members? If not, thank you very much. Next testifier, Cal Naismith, Sandra Burgess.
Good morning. My name is Sandra Burgess. I'm Hawaiian, and I oppose the Akaka bill. Aloha, and thank you for allowing me to testify. I'm a local girl born and raised in Hawaii, and like I said, I oppose the Akaka bill. Have you considered how passage of the Akaka bill might affect your rail project? If the Akaka bill passes, you will have a Hawaiian Indian-like tribe formed right away, and this tribe will have sovereign control over thousands of acres of land in Hawaii. You will have to negotiate with Hawaiian tribal chiefs for access or thoroughfare on Hawaiian tribal lands that your rail project might pass through. Indian tribes on the mainland are already extracting fees from utilities across the mainland for water lines, electricity lines, cable lines, telephone lines, and I've listed 4 examples here. In the interest of time, I'll just talk about the last one. In 1990, the Seneca Nation of Indians found just a few miles of transmission lines crossing one corner of the reservation at a mountain junction. There was barren land, there was nothing there, and they demanded $60 million from the Niagara Mohawk Utility Commission. So please just think about how this bill will affect us. And it seems odd that in Iraq we are trying to get the Sunnis, Kurds, and Shiites to live together as one nation. But here in Hawaii, the most integrated, intermarried, racially blended spot on earth, our politicians spend precious time and precious treasure promoting tribalism. Please vote no on this bill. Thank you.
Thank you. Questions, members? Thank you. Tom Peterson? Again, that's the last registered speaker. Anyone else wishing to testify, if you could line up along the side here, we'd appreciate it. Good morning.
Morning. Tom Peterson here. No, 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 and no. That probably tells you that I'm from the party of no. This ridiculous resolution is a waste of your time and taxpayer money. And last month I was at the bus stop and I was accosted by this big fat local guy who demanded that I give him $5 for a plate lunch because he had not eaten in 3 days. I happened to be writing a note and was putting my hand in my pocket. He must have thought this was his lucky day, that he had somehow found a soft-hearted and soft-headed haole who was going to give him money, so he upped the demand and said, oh, give me $6 for that plate lunch. And when he found out that I wasn't going to give him any money, that's when the racial epithets started flying, and I was told that I should go back to the mainland and that it was that evil people like me, and what else did he say? He said, Captain Cook. So I can't argue with logic like that. So let's say no to this ridiculous resolution. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Questions, members? Thank you. Anyone else wishing to testify in this matter? Good morning.
Aloha mai kako, Leimomi Khan. I am the president for the Association of Hawaiian Civic Clubs, and I am here to deliver testimony in support of this resolution. Obviously, everybody knows what the purpose of the Native Hawaiian Government Reorganization Act is, and that is to provide a process for the reorganization of a single Native Hawaiian governing entity and a reaffirmation of the special political and legal relationship between the United States and the Native Hawaiian governing entity. Since 1996, the Association of Hawaiian Civic Clubs has passed 17 resolutions. So continuously we have been involved in this issue. These resolutions concern self-determination, sovereignty, nationhood building, and federal recognition. And yes, not every Hawaiian, not every citizen of this state supports this bill, not unlike any other bill. But we do look for justice. Justice for a Native government that the United States recognized was illegally overturned. This Akaka bill is not the perfect bill. Mahalo, we do support the Akaka bill. I should tell you that not all of the 58 clubs were in support, but the majority were, and that is our process. Mahalo.
Thank you. Questions, members? Thank you.